ask you one more, Karine. President Biden said several weeks ago that he plans to visit East Palestine. Can you update us on that? When is he going to be visiting East Palestine, and why hasn't he yet?
So the plans are underway, discussions are underway, just don't have anything locked in at this time. The president's words stand on what he shared about at some time going to visit the community.
You're saying he still plans to visit. What's your message to residents there, to lawmakers there, including Democrats who say he should have been there already?
Look, the president has had his team on the ground since day one. I just laid out.
And then I have another question. So Texas Governor Greg Abbott has installed more than 130 miles of razor wire on federal land in the Rio Grande Canal. Abbott didn't seek the required permits to do this, and has doubled down on yesterday on Twitter saying that they are not going to ask permission to do this. Does the administration plan to sue Texas like they did in Arizona over former Governor Doug Ducey's makeshift border barrier?
That's a question for the Department of Justice. I don't have anything to share here. But more broadly on the governor in Texas, this is another political stunt that we've seen from him over and over again. Instead of dealing with an issue in a way that can actually have results, he continues to have do these political stunts. And it's unfortunate, because what it's going to do is actually hurt the communities that he is supposed to represent. And this is a president that has, when it comes to working to secure the border, dealing with a real issue, he's taken action. He's catched record levels of fentanyl, work that he's done because of the record levels of funding. We support 23,000 agents, the most ever, working to secure the border. Go ahead, Steve.
Thanks, Karine. The messaging from TikTok increasingly is focused on the number of users, now up to 150 million. The TikTok CEO is expected to stress that in his testimony tomorrow. Is the app now so popular that it's too late for these national security concerns to be properly addressed?
So, look, I'm just going to repeat what you heard from my colleague, and what I say all the time from here is that we're just not going to comment any further.
Is there any way you could shed some light on why the CFIUS review process has taken as long as it has? I mean, this is now, the former president tried to ban TikTok more than 2 years ago, and the app has only grown in popularity since. What's taking so long?
So I can't speak to their process. They are doing this independent review.
Favorite topic, which is TikTok.
TikTok is the topic today.
This is without getting into
Okay.
the CFIUS process
Yes.
or any of the sensitivities there. There's a new poll that says that a majority of daily TikTok users oppose banning the social media app. And so I'm just wondering, as this administration has talked about the national security concerns around this app, and this is really a communications question, does the president need to do a better job of explaining to Americans, explaining to TikTok users why this app represents such a national security concern?
Look, our job is to make sure, and the president's job is to make sure that Americans, when it comes to national security, is protected. We've been very clear about that. We've been very explicit about our concerns with the app. Again, there's a CFIUS review. We understand the popularity of TikTok. That is something, we get that. But the president's job is to make sure, again, that Americans' national security is protected.
In mid-April that Kirby just referred to. Is that the hot wash that Jake had referred to, going back to basically the midst, right, in
Yep.
August 2021? Is that
That's
what we should be?
That's what you should be expecting in mid-April.
Okay. I guess if you just add a little bit meat to the bone, why it's I'm not turning down this review coming out, but
Yes.
why did it take so long?
Look, I'm not going to get into the specifics on the process or the timeline of it. I know that Jake had talked. You guys have asked him about this many times, and I would say that we wanted to make sure that we were, take the time to get this right.
Real quick on Phil Washington, the administration's nominee for the FAA. The Senate Commerce Committee abruptly delayed his committee vote. This comes nearly 8 months after Phil Washington was initially nominated. The FAA has now been without a permanent director for nearly a year amid a lot of turmoil in the aviation industry. And so I guess I'm wondering why the administration is so intent on digging in on a nominee who, after 8 months of being nominated, still doesn't seem to have convinced senators that he deserves this position.
So look, we think he has the qualification. When I say we, I mean Phil Washington. He has the qualifications and the experience for this role. The president believes that, and that's what our administration believes as well. He has led the Denver International Airport, one of the busiest airport in the world, managed large transportation safety organization, and served as a command sergeant major in the military. This is a role with a key safety mandate, and that's what we believe. We believe that he is experienced for this role. I'll say one more thing. We're going to continue to urge Senate to move swiftly on his confirmation, and we heard today from Senator Cantwell herself has made clear that Phil Washington's nomination will receive full consideration from the committee, and that's coming from the senator herself. Okay, Nandita.